You are listening to the Cattle Call Podcast. This is the place where computer-aided design and drafting meets humor and practicality, with a touch of business acumen thrown in for fun. Jim and Rocco, the owners of Zentech Consultants, the premier U.S. technology consulting firm for architecture, engineering, construction, and manufacturing, discuss the fascinating world of CAD with some humor and some honesty. The Cattle Call Podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Cattle Call Podcast with Jim and Rocco from Zentech Consultants. I am Jim, your technologically gifted host, and with me, as always, is my partner,
Rocco.
Rocco. See, Rocco, he is not technological.
I'm just gifted.
Just gifted. Just gifted. Just because your wife gave you a gift at Christmas doesn't mean you're gifted. That's about as close to gifted as I actually get too, so it's all fair. All right, Rocco. However, being gifted will not get you away from the engineering joke of the week. Are you ready for this one?
I'm ready.
Okay. Hey, did you hear about the engineer who wrote a book about creating anti-gravity fields?
No.
Oh, book. It was impossible to put down. There you go. I actually got a laugh out of him today. All right. Woo! There's a win. We're done now. I think so. We need it for the show. I got you to laugh. We're good. So,
that is a good one.
Oh, and I kind of like that one myself. That was cute. All right, folks. So on today's show, what I want to talk about is, what is to my mind the most versatile, reliable, and brilliant software system ever written. All right, now look, I know you guys listen and you're thinking I'm going to throw out some new CAD system or a construction management system or some other software that we rep here at Zentech, but you would be wrong. The greatest program ever written, hands down, bar none, is Microsoft Excel. Right? And what started as a simple accounting spreadsheet program has literally become the cornerstone of the technology universe. You see jokes, all over the internet, right? About all of the fancy new AI and ERP systems and big box stuff looking all big and bright and shiny and massive. And then you open up the outside case and there's a bunch of spider webs in there and there's a little old copy of Excel inside. And that is not far from the truth. Excel it's crazy versatile, right? And it's particularly important for those of us working in the design build world. I mean, I talk every single day to people who still use Excel for the bulk, I guess, of their day-to-day operation, right? Whether it's for things like, scheduling or inventory, supply management. But I think where it really shines, though, is in the estimating space, right? And that's kind of what I want to focus on with Excel today, right? How designers, contractors, GCs, and even like the building product manufacturers that we all work with, how they use Excel, right, in their everyday estimating workflows. So, Rocco, if you kind of had to put a percentage number on it, how many of our clients still do most of their estimating and construction management work in Excel at some level?
I'd probably say 100%. I mean, I can't think of anybody that we really run into, unless you want to count, the handful of folks that are, that are working with what do they call them, the markers and and paper. But I mean, outside of that, I think everybody's working with Excel at some level.
Yeah, I mean, it's all of us, and it's not going away,
Yeah.
and it shouldn't. All right, and that's what we want to talk about there. I mean, because I think the reason that Excel is so popular in the estimating space is because of its native ability for anybody to customize it to your own internal company needs. Right? It's not a software, right, where you get some predefined tools and then you have to learn how to use those tools and you have to adjust the way you work so that it'll tie into what some other guy who was writing code decided you should be doing. You get to do it your way, right? With Excel, you can build workbooks that handle all of your estimating needs in the format that your staff and your clients have come to expect and are going to understand. Not just that, but it's pretty much universally accessible, right? So that you can just share your Excel file with anybody. Doesn't matter what they're using, they're going to be able to access the information, right, without really ever even having to worry about, licenses or software versions or all the other nightmares we have transferring files from software to software. Excel lets each one of us develop formulas, right, that can handle everything from, like basic area calculations to advanced profitability correlations, if that's what you need. Those formulas and interactions can span multiple cells on one worksheet, all right? They can span multiple worksheets. They can even span separate Excel workbooks that are all interacting together in real time, right? Pulling data from all kinds of sources to get you the results you need. And that is an incredible amount of versatility for a program that costs us next to nothing. The other real benefit here is that, once all those formulas and connections and structures are built out, they never need to be edited again, right? Setup in Excel is kind of a one and done scenario. All the end users have to do is go in and they enter in, basic takeoff information like, here's the length, here's the width, here's the height, here's how many of these items we have. And Excel instantly uses those formulas to do all the heavy lifting. Like I say, the other big benefit here is interoperability, right? Just about every program on the planet interacts at some level with Excel, right? Whether it's CAD, BIM, construction management, takeoff, markup systems, financial software, analytics, you name it, and all of them can talk back and forth with Microsoft Excel. So look, Brad, let's be fair, right? We're a technology consulting firm, and we do a lot of work, demonstrating and customizing and training people on all these, really cool leading edge technologies that we do, right? But let's be honest with the listeners. How often do we use Excel internally for our own project work?
Every day.
Every single day on just about every single job. I could not live without Microsoft Excel. It touches everything that we do. It's just the way it goes. Look, I'll be fair and I'll say that while almost all of us use Excel, not all of us are experts at developing and formatting and securing Excel worksheets into those, powerhouse estimating systems that we all want to have. That does take a good bit of, technical knowledge to really get the most out of Excel, right? Using DAX language, integrating it with other systems, scripting, reporting, pivot tables, right? A lot of that is beyond most people, right? Most of us are just using it to do some basic, hey, I need to, multiply whatever's, the quantity is in cell A and I multiply it by the cost I have entered in cell B and then tell me the result of that in cell C, right? That's how most of us use Excel. And that's great. And for most of us, that's fine, right? Once the kind of the back end setup work is all handled and structured for you, and let's be honest, we're being self-serving here. And if you're going to do that, you probably want a technical consultant like Zentek to help you. But once that's all set up, all your users need to do is basic data entry, right? And in the estimating world, that's as good as it's going to get for most of us, right? The issue though, and this is something I want to get into in the next part. The issue here is that the break point, we'll call it, and I don't mean that in a good way, like point break. I mean, it's the point where failures can happen in this estimating system. It's in that data entry step by the end user. That's where human error starts to creep in, right? And it can bite us big time. One extra zero accidentally typed in, right? Or if you're, fat-fingered bad typer like me, decimal points kind of pop up in places where they shouldn't, right? And if you do things like that in a large estimate, you're either dramatically underbidding or we're just going to price ourselves completely out of the job entirely. And let's be honest, I don't even know which of those scenarios is worse in the long run, under or over. So that's, what's the answer, right? How do we remove the potential of, errors and mistypes or misplaced data, right, from the equation? And no Excel pun intended there. and that's kind of what I want to get into some detail on, right? So tell you what we're going to do here. Let's take a quick break to let our sponsor get a word in. And when we get back, I want to get into the concept of quantity linking, right? Kind of eliminating manual data entry. And it's the step that, almost all of us are missing in that Excel estimating space, right? I don't want to get into that. So stand by, folks. We'll be back in just a minute with more of the Cattle Call Podcast. All right, everybody. Today's Cattle Call Podcast is being sponsored by both Rocco and I, Zentech. We want to talk to you guys about our Bluebeam Review Toolset Kickstart program. Look, you guys fight with trying to get reliable, repeatable quantity takeoff and markup items from your Bluebeam software, right? Are you guys frustrated having to go in and change and modify the display properties of every single item that you create inside a review? Well, that's what we're here to help you guys with the Kickstart program. We give you tools that you need built to your specifications at an affordable fixed cost. You can fully develop tool sets for any industry. Doesn't matter what it is, doesn't matter what you do. We can help you work better with Bluebeam custom tools. So Rocco, why don't you tell folks how they get info on our Kickstart program?
Yeah, the big thing is it is, like you said, Jim, it's one fixed price. So it's $29.95. And we can help you to prove to your management what
is it $29.95?
No, Jim, it's $2,995.
Thank you. Just wanted to clarify.
Oh, sure, of course. So hit up our website, check out the details. We'd be happy to talk to you. It's zentechconsultants.net. Reach out to us, sales@zentechconsultants.net, or give us a ring, 866-824-4459.
All right, the Bluebeam Review Toolset Kickstart program. Everything you guys need to be Bluebeam experts. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Cattle Call Podcast. We're talking about Microsoft Excel for estimating in the construction world, right? And in this half of the show, I want to get into the concept of quantity linking, or the idea of eliminating manual data entry from the process entirely. There are two steps really, I guess, in any kind of construction estimate, right? You have the takeoff and then you have the estimate. Right? And the takeoff is where we're developing all the quantities of materials and measurements and volumes and counts and such that we need to complete the job, right? What do we actually need to do that work? Whereas the estimate, it's where we start to assign the numeric values like, hours and labor rates and taxes and so on, right, to those takeoff quantities. Now look, in most cases, right, those two processes are handled by two distinct software systems. Right? The takeoff is usually done graphically, very often on PDFs, right, using a system like, Bluebeam Review, which can, generate all the quantity data that you need, right? While the cost, right, the cost estimating side is being handled for most of us in Excel. That's, like I said, it's like 95% of us still use Excel for that. And the issue, like I was saying at the end of the first half of the show here, is getting the data from the takeoff software into your estimating software, right? That's where human error starts to creep in, right? And not only that, but manually transferring the data from the system A to system B, sort of, it can be extremely time consuming, right? And if you couple that with the potential inaccuracies, and our time to generate estimates can chew up just an incredible amount of our work week and put us at a lot of risk for potential problems. So Rocco, in the construction space, are many of our clients using Excel for estimating and then typing takeoff quantities manually, and how secure, when you talk to them, they feel in that process?
Yeah, there's still a lot that are doing it, and we we tell them to tread cautiously, right? Because it can become a problem. But it varies, right? I mean, we see all kinds of skill levels out there, and that's what, especially when it comes to use of Excel. But there's people that are doing some real extensive, and you're going to get into it here some more, but some real extensive work with with Excel, and that's hugely impressive. They don't even realize how advanced their skills are until they get into conversations with us or show us kind of what they've developed.
Yeah. There's a lot of those folks who are like, oh, yeah, I just cobbled this together in my spare time over the last 15 years. I'm like, oh, really? Well, that's brilliant. So, yeah. So, yeah, you look, when you work with an estimating system or a takeoff system, rather, like Bluebeam, you do have the ability to handle a good bit of estimating, right? Pricing and so on, right inside of Bluebeam itself. But the truth is, while it can be very powerful to go in and customize, Bluebeam Review's column data, and you can do a lot of the cost estimating there on a line-by-line basis. At its best, it's still not as robust a system as Excel. It can't perform the kind of those level of high-end formulation and cross-connective data that Excel does, right? And I have had a lot of clients who look at Review and they love it for the takeoff. Like, this makes takeoff so much easier, but they still manually extract the data from Bluebeam, right? They output it as a CSV file, right? And then they copy and paste it into Excel, or even some of them don't even do that. Some even just go print it out and manually type it, which boggles my mind, but it happens. And that's kind of the big feature that I want to talk about here in this half of the show, right? Quantity linking. Right, what this is, it's a feature that allows your takeoff system, Bluebeam Review, to connect directly to Excel. Right, so that as you are going in and you're using Bluebeam's graphic tools to perform the takeoff on your PDF plans, all of the values that you're getting, area, square footage, counts, whatever, are being written directly to the correct cells inside your Excel workbook in real time. Right? And for a lot of the people that we work with, that is the absolute ideal scenario. Like Rocco was saying before, right? We've seen some estimating workbooks that, our clients have put together that just stun me with how beautifully they work, right? And some of these are so well executed, you'd think it was a custom built program that they had written and not just plain old off the shelf Excel. And that level of effort and accuracy that your people have developed over decades, it shouldn't be cast aside because, some software salesperson, like Rocco, sorry, Rocco, because some sales guy gets on the phone, he's going to tell you about his new, AI integrated features that are, dynamically integrated to the cutting edge paradigm shift in management efficiencies. It's a bunch of crap. Right? If you have a brilliant system that works today, you should be looking for ways to improve that system, not to replace it with some new software. Right? And that is where I think quantity linking really comes into play. So here, Rocco, we get a little salesy for you since I made fun of you as a sales guy. We actually have a bunch of programs that we offer for quantity linking, right? And we have videos showing people what it can actually do for folks. It's always hard to see that, or visualize it in your head on a podcast. How do people find that info on our website to learn more about quantity links?
If you're seeing it in your head and you're listening to our podcast, oh boy.
One would hope somebody's imagining what I'm saying.
No, there's actually, we offer a variety of on-demand webinars on our website at zentechconsultants.net. There's one video in particular, I think it's called our Bluebeam and Excel Perfect Together webinar recording that's on YouTube as well. I think Jim did that, and Dave might be in process or might have just redone it, and that gets tons of views. So yeah, you want to hit up our website, check out those webinars, check out the quantity linking functionality that we recently added into our Bluebeam Toolset Kickstart programs as well.
Okay, there you go. So plenty of stuff for you guys to read up on this. If the discussion here today doesn't quite click with you or make 100% sense, when you're just listening. Look, the thing that I always stress to people, right, when they're looking into setting up quantity linking between Bluebeam and Excel, is the need to work off of pre-built Bluebeam takeoff tool sets to make this effective. You don't ever want to try and do this using just, out of the box review takeoff tools. If you do, it's going to be so clunky and inefficient. It becomes very quickly a useless system. And that's where most people, when they try and implement it themselves, they throw it aside after about 4 hours and go, this is insane. I can't do this. Let me put it like this, right? If you use the standard review volume tool, right off the toolbar, and you want to measure how much concrete do I need for a footing on my job, right? You have to manually connect that specific volume for that footing to an Excel location, right? For every instance of a footing. So if you have 25 footings, I'm going to go and do that 25 times, right? And I'm going to have a hard time figuring out which one is which and where it goes. And I have to do that again on every job, every time I do that. That's where the frustration comes in. A lot of people kind of get stuck at that point. And the right way to do this is to build a custom, we'll call it a 4x4 footing, right? As a tool in review that calculates the volume, right? Then we can just go in and drop those footings right on the plan, and we can connect using that 4x4 footing description to a specific cell in your workbook that's called, hey, here's the 4x4 footings, and it's automatically going to sum up all 25 volumes for your footings into that one cell. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. And from there, your existing Excel workbook, or a new one if we do it for you, whatever, the Excel is just going to do what it always does. It's going to take those values and it's going to calculate all your costs from your pricing database and whatever else you may have it linked to. And the great thing is that when the depth on, say, 3 of those footings gets changed, right? The structural engineer changes 3 of them from 36 inches deep to 48 inches deep. You just go to review, change the depth, and you're done. The updated volumes are pushed immediately into Excel. Excel estimates, all updates automatically, all the volumes, all of the pricing, all the costs, everything related to it in real time. Okay, right? Using the same outputs and verifiable calculations that you've always used with your Excel worksheets. Essentially, quantity linking, I guess the best way to say it turns Bluebeam and Excel, right, 2 separate softwares, into one single takeoff and estimating system that work together, right? And they're customized to work exactly the way that your people know how to work and that you all know and trust, right? Building all of those tools, creating the connections and verifying or updating all those formulas, yeah, it does. It takes a little bit of doing. It's not necessarily something anybody can do. It does require someone who's got a little bit of expertise in both Bluebeam and Excel to handle that. And for most of us, that is going to mean working with, Zentek or someone like us to kind of make that happen, right? But it's certainly worth that investment. So there you go, Rocco. How do people reach out to us if they want to get talking about getting quantity linking working for their company?
Well, before I do that, I do have an important question for you. So, a lot of people ask about the different versions of Bluebeam. And does this functionality, is it available with all 3 versions of Bluebeam? Basics, Core, and Complete? Yeah,
the great thing is, you do need, to fully get it to function right, we need the Complete version to build it, to create the connections. But what's really nice is once it's built and it's done, you can use the lowest level version of Bluebeam. Anybody can access it once it's created. So you only need the updated versions of Bluebeam to create the links. Once the links have been created, anybody can use them just off of the tool set and just drop tools from any version of Bluebeam and it all works.
Okay.
Make sense?
Makes sense.
Cool.
So to learn more, again, visit our website, zentekconsultants.net, or give us a call, 866-824-4459, or email sales@zentekconsultants.net. And, we're always happy to set some time aside to meet with folks and talk through and show this capability, because we tried our best. Jim did a good job of explaining it here, but it's a different story when you can see what's going on.
Yeah.
So definitely reach out.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say earlier, right? Hit the website. The videos are great, or get the live demo, right, where we can talk about what you do and how you do it and how it can tie in. That is definitely one of those cases where the picture is worth 1,000 words. All right, so I tell you what, folks, we're going to end it for today by saying that, whether you use Bluebeam Review exclusively right now for your takeoff and estimating, or if you're looking to develop a brand new Excel workbook, for estimating, to build it out the way that you need it for your company, but you don't have that skill, or even if you have an existing workbook structure that you love, that you want to integrate with Bluebeam, we can help you do that, right? Look, even if Excel and Bluebeam both scare you and you barely touched either other than at a basic level, we can make this so simple for you that anybody in your office will be able to use it. Even that one guy who still uses markers and a calculator, like Rocco was saying earlier. All right, so we're here to help with everything. So reach out to us, right? And with that, folks, we are going to get out of here, but we will catch you next time on the Cattle Call Podcast. All right, everybody, today's Cattle Call was brought to you courtesy of Zentech Consultants. That's Rocco and I. Zentech Consultants works with design and manufacturing firms to help our clients purchase and implement the software that they need in these complex industries. We provide a single point of contact for clients to buy, develop, and learn the most vital software systems for your specific needs. Zentech strives to be your trusted technology partner from your initial needs all the way through long-term support and training for your entire staff. So Rocco, why don't you tell them how to reach out to Zentech?
All right, yeah, you can reach out to us through zentechconsultants.net. You can email us at sales@zentechconsultants.net, or you can even call us 866-824-4459.
Excellent. We look forward to hearing from you all.